Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be why you shouldn't date strippers. Well, I don't know if you've ever had any friends or known anybody that's dated strippers, but I sure have. I've hung out with a lot of strippers. I've known a lot of strippers over the years. I've had friends that pretty much only dated strippers exclusively. And yeah, strippers can be great. They can be incredible fantasies, and they usually bring girlfriends over when they come over to visit you after they've been working all night. But there's a downside with that lifestyle, is that when you date a woman who is sexually open and is totally comfortable with her body and getting up there on stage and doing those things, there's a much higher likelihood that you're going to end up dating or going out with a chick that's got daddy issues or maybe drug problems, or there's just a whole host of drama. And like I said, I've known a lot of strippers. I've gone out with someone but never dated them. But I gotta tell you, it's definitely an experience, to say the least, because they're surrounded by guys that are horny, that want to get laid. A lot of guys go in there that have money. And especially for a girl that's into drugs or doing cocaine or doing other things, guys throwing money at her. And you got to keep in mind that the women that work there, their job is to keep a guy there spending his money, buying lap dances, buying drinks, appetizers. Even some of these places are like full-blown steak restaurants. So the goal is to keep you there and keep you spending your money. And some of these guys, like some of my friends that I know used to date strippers when they were younger, and almost exclusively, they'd go there and they'd hang out and they'd get to know the girls, and they develop a routine about how they go about picking up on these women. And they were aggressive. Some of them were looking for a way out of the lifestyle. They're not all completely messed up. There's a few of them there that work in the industry that kind of have their shit together. But from what I saw and what I was exposed to, and the friends I know that have dated strippers over the years, there's a lot of mostly drama that goes along with that. And so if you're gonna date strippers, you just gotta know that going into there, because people that are doing drugs, especially drugs like cocaine. I had a gal that I dated once years ago, and she liked to do coke, and she hung out with guys that usually had cocaine because they had money. And typically what happens, you do coke, you get, you lose your inhibitions. People tend to get pretty horny, and so the girls would end up, at least the woman that I dated, I know there were occasions where she basically gave up the pussy to get some drugs. And so those kinds of things happen. And so it's, like I said, I got an email here from a guy who, he dated a girl. She wasn't a stripper to start out with, but they basically fell on hard times, and so she started taking a job just to strictly be a server, and then working as a server, and then turned into a dancer. And then once she became a dancer, she got involved in the party lifestyle, and things went downhill. And this poor guy stayed with this gal and basically let her walk all over him. So I'll read part of it's a long email, but it'll be on my website, but I'll read a bunch of what he talks about here. He says, here's the real story. I was in a relationship with this girl for 3 years. Things were good, but when the economy hit, I was out of a job and money. Things got really tough for her and our relationship started to go down. We got so desperate that she mentioned going to a strip club to work as a waitress to make some quick money. Well, that turned into her dancing, which was my fault as a man, which I should have never let her do. What you should have done is you should have just gone out and got a job and figured something out. Even if you were really in love with this girl and you really had a solid relationship, you would have moved somewhere to get work or do whatever it had to do. That's the way I would have looked at it. I was just so desperate, I figured it would only be 5 to 10 times until I found work. Well, she started to party and come home wasted on drugs. It was bad. I started getting upset and seeing the true colors of her real self, so I started to treat her real bad. Men that understand women don't treat women badly. They're charming, they're loving, they're sweet, they're kind, they're good listeners. They know how to break down her barriers and get past things when there's a problem. And you got a gal times are tough because you're broke. She starts working, and then now she's stripping. And things aren't good at home, and so what does she do? She starts hanging out with the girlfriends that she works with. Hey, here's a little coke, here's a little weed, here's a little ecstasy, here's a little bit of this, and oh, here's this guy, he's a friend of ours, and hey, look, there's an 8-ball on the table, and one thing leads to another, and the next thing you know, she's hanging out with some dude that's throwing lots of money around, buying her plenty of drugs and cocaine, and she's giving up the sex because things aren't good at home, and that's how it spirals down and out of control. So basically, he gets, it got worse. She started not coming home. And then he says, I got fed up and I moved out one night, and she called me crying hysterically that she was going to change. People don't change, but they will become better versions of themselves. So I told her it was best that we live separate for now until we both could get back on track with our lives. She agreed, and we agreed to take things slow and date. So Valentine's Day comes. He makes a date with her. She says, most likely yes. That's not a definite date when a woman says most likely yes. In other words, she's basically leaving herself a little wiggle room because she may break the date in case something better comes up. And so around 7:30 when I was supposed to pick her up, she called and said her friend just broke up with her ex and she needed to be there for her. Well, this is Valentine's Day, right? Yeah, I'm sure. She asked if we could reschedule. I said no problem. I thought something was fishy. Obviously, you should always trust your intuition. I drove by around 9:30 p.m. and she was there by herself. Well, as I was walking to my car, obviously, I don't think he went in or anything. He probably went and looked, saw that she was home alone, but didn't go anywhere because she was supposedly going over to console somebody. So as he's walking over to his car, he sees a guy pull up with flowers, and the dude just walks right in her house. He says, I was so devastated and I walked right in. She was shocked. I mean, obviously. She's 24 years old and the guy seemed to be in his mid-40s with money and a nice car. Of course, she met him at the club where she was working. Big surprise. I left and she texted me the next day that she was sorry and to take care. And he remarks that it was cold-hearted. It was like, well, she was obviously more interested in getting high and probably having sex and doing drugs with this guy who's bringing her flowers and romancing her and doing all the things basically that you stopped doing a long time ago. If you don't date your wife or girlfriend, somebody else eventually will, and that's what happened to you. 4 months passed. I ran into a friend. She stated that his ex-girlfriend was in bad shape. I let it go. Smart move. And then I get an email from my ex on Easter stating she needs help if I come over and talk to her. Well, being that I still loved her and I have a heart, I go over there. I arrive. She's a mess. There's drugs everywhere. I throw them all away and talk to her. She explains to me that the guy was a distraction from being hurt. She also states that he's 43 and married with 2 children. Big shock. That happens all the time. According to her, he's been promising to get a divorce and marry her. That lie has been used for centuries. And first he was a distraction, but now she's developed feelings for this guy. And then this is her boyfriend. First of all, you met him at a strip club, and that's where apparently he met his wife. So this dude obviously likes strippers. I've had friends that are like, I had a guy who used to work for me, loves strippers. He used to hang out in the clubs all the time, and he was from Germany. And he just, as soon as he opened his mouth, because of his accent, it was a leg spreader for him. It was pretty easy. Let's see. Anyway, she goes on telling me how she misses me and she wants to see me more. Well, I think what she was really doing is asking you to be a backup in case things didn't work out with this other married guy, because obviously she was probably getting an inkling that it wasn't going to. He begs her. Oh, and then on top of that, she calls this guy's wife and basically says, hey, I'm fucking your husband. What do you think about that? Or do you know about that? Because she suspects that he's not being truthful about leaving her. So anyways, he gets back together with her. The things are good, but then she starts acting strange. More than likely, she probably started doing drugs again. Telling me that I'm not the one that she really wants to marry, complaining that I have ADD. I don't focus on her enough, etc. Just putting me down. Basically, she's communicating to you that you're not making her feel loved, you're not romancing and dating her, and basically making her feel all the things that you used to at one time, and what this other guy had been doing. So he goes through her phone and basically finds out that, big surprise, she's still fucking this other guy, and obviously doing drugs with him. So he gets, make a long story short, the guy finds out that this girl is really in love with this other dude, and basically she's having her cake and eat it too. She's got the ex-boyfriend who she's obviously been able, it's obvious that she can manipulate and totally snow this guy over. So any advice, Corey? Well, my advice for you is to say it was a great experience. The sex was awesome. It was fun. You dated a chick who was a stripper. Now you can say, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and it hasn't been a lot of fun. The bottom line is this girl's revealed her true color. She's not good girlfriend material. If you want to sleep with her and hang out from time to time and have an open relationship, awesome. But she's not good girlfriend material. She's not good material to have a relationship with because she's a liar, and plus she's doing drugs. And, those two combinations, you don't want to get caught up or you get a disease from this chick. And, she has no problem looking in the eye and lying to you. So the best thing you can do, there's 6.5 billion people on the planet. Half of them are women. There's more beautiful single women than you could ever possibly date or meet in your entire life if you did it for every day the rest of your life. So the best thing to do is to start meeting and dating other women, and eventually you'll get over it. But this girl you deserve something better, dude. And this girl's not the solution. So life is an all-you-eat buffet. I can tell you don't understand women, so read my book, start applying it, and you'll get the results. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the would be a toolbar at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this video on my website, and click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information that you received in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located on the would be a toolbar. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask me or a topic that you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, just click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me a detailed email in several paragraphs and give me several days to get back to you. And if you'd like to book a paid phone coaching session with me personally, you can do so by clicking the Products tab, which is going to be located across the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session with me, and I will talk to you soon.